Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari.
I'm Cheryl Nelson. Good to see you, Danielle. I know we're missing Quincy again.
I know we're so proud of him out there at sea, doing his comedy thing. And of course, we're so proud of you as well, Cheryl, because you just came back from the Emmys. You were nominated for an Emmy. How did it go?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was the local New England Emmys, and I was nominated for that whale piece I did, The Impacts of Climate Change on Coastal New England Whales, that we aired right here on the Yearview Network. And it was so nice to go up there, get dressed up, receive that nomination. I did not come home with a statue, but to be nominated, that is an honor in itself.
Absolutely. And we're so proud. And I rember seeing that segment on here. So if you missed it, definitely check it out. But I do remember you were bundled up quite a bit. So you're probably enjoying a little bit warmer weather now.
I know, yes. I'm so looking forward to summer. It's been, gosh, a long winter and spring, it feels like. I'm ready to just go and get some clothes and bathing suits and go to the beach and go to the pool. How about you? Do you have any plans?
I am headed up to a lake soon with my family, so I'm excited to just get on the water, enjoy the water, and that just feels like summer to me.
Oh, gosh, I know. And speaking of summer, we are not far away from the start of summer or the start of this show. So, coming up, we're going to talk about a lot today, showing love for pets through fostering and also supporting our teachers through recognition.
That's right. We'll explore the world of Van Gogh and, of course, continue to celebrate Pride Month. But first, how well do you know your water? We meet with a water sommelier right here on Main Street Living.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, I gotta say, water is arguably the most precious resource on the planet. Life here without it, we wouldn't be able to survive. But most of us, unfortunately, take water for granted. You just turn on the faucet and there it is.
That's right. And our next guest would like us all to think a little bit more about water and appreciate it in a different way. Please welcome water sommelier and water advocate, Martin Riese. Martin, thank you so much for joining us on Main Street Living.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so happy to be here and to hydrate everybody today.
So Martin, it's actually a funny story. I found you on TikTok because your TikToks are incredible. So I'm already a huge fan. But for people who don't know you, you're a water sommelier. What exactly is that and how do you become one?
Yeah, I think like my parents always ask me, how did you become a water sommelier, Martin? What happened in your life? So I'm from Germany, from the Danish border up north, where the North and Baltic Sea are almost connecting, at the Danish border in Germany. So I had water always surrounding me. And when I was 4 or 5 years old, I realized that the tap water quality tasted in every single city differently to me when I was on vacation time with my parents. And I was fascinating about that. Obviously, as back in the days as a child, I didn't know why water had taste to me. And then I studied a little bit more about water. And in my teens, I got it really interesting in water. And then in 2005, a guest came to me in Berlin and said, Martin, I was working in a restaurant. You have so many different wines, but when it comes to water, you're just serving one brand. And he didn't like the taste of that particular brand. And he thought, what else do you have for me? And I thought, why not offering a water menu? So I started to create water menus. I wrote a book about water, and then it was almost like this classic snowball effect. I became a water sommelier, actually certified in 2010 by the German Water Trade Association.
This is so cool. I've never heard of anybody like you before. I mean, you are definitely very unique. And you said you've written books about water, including one called World of Water. What made you decide to actually take the time and write a book, and give us a little synopsis?
I realized that when I started this whole water menu program in 2005 in Germany, that a lot of people said like, oh, we never saw a water menu. And this is something so unique. And then I realized that we're engaging with water on a daily basis. We all do, because we cannot live without water, but we don't think about it. We just take it for granted. And I thought, you know what? I need to bring more attention to water in general. And the best attention is to write a book, to put all my knowledge, what I have, into a book. It's a German book, so I'm so sorry. You have to speak German or train German first with me to understand my book. But good news, I'm rewriting it right now, and I'm updating it as well for the American consumer. So a new book will come out hopefully this year, and we'll see what the name is, but we want to bring attention to water. The more we know, the better it is.
Well, I mean, it's like you're talking about. We engage with this every day, and it's almost like we take it for granted, right? Because a lot of us don't even want to drink water if we have the option. We'd rather drink something else. So, why do you think that most of us don't appreciate water the way that you do?
I think it has something to do literally like what we're doing in the morning, because the first thing how we engage with water, our life elixir, without that we wouldn't be here. And pardon my English, we're going to the restroom. So we're putting our stuff, what comes from our body right now, into this liquid, what we actually need to have on a daily basis to survive. Then we're opening our faucet, we're brushing our teeth and not even thinking about it, that 780 million people don't have access to clean and safe drinking water. So I think that is so important to me. And that's the reason why I love the whole idea of water tastings, because then suddenly you realize, oh my God, water has taste, water has value. Maybe I should start to rethink my use of water as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're educating people on this because in so many parts of the world, I know we're seeing this in the desert Southwest in the United States, there's drought and the areas are drying up. They don't have water. They have water restrictions there. So let's talk about that a little bit. How important do you think it is to educate people, not only just there, but also people all around the world who think water is going to last forever and always be there?
Let's face it, we have 325 million trillion gallons of water on this planet. It's a crazy number. We're the blue planet. But what a lot of people don't know, that 97% of that crazy number is actually in the ocean. So we cannot drink ocean water. We all know that. Then from the fresh water, what we could actually drink, 2/3 of this fresh water is trapped in icebergs and glaciers. So we're actually talking about 1% of all water on this planet, what is actually accessible to us for all humans and all animals, because we all know our furry little friends need water too on a daily basis. Then when we're thinking how much water we're actually using on a daily basis, then it's getting actually scary, because the average American person uses around 80 gallons per day in direct water. Indirect water is a different topic. So the indirect water is the water we're using by producing, for example, our shirts, by producing our food. So a cheeseburger, for example, around 660 gallons of water. It's been used to produce one cheeseburger. So I think it's very, very important that we start to literally rethink what we're actually doing with this extremely valuable beverage, what we're calling water.
Yeah. I mean, that's shocking to hear how much goes into just one burger. As you educate people about water, what do you think is the most surprising thing to people when they first hear this?
I think the first surprising thing is, wait, water has taste? I cannot believe that. And due to my water tastings, they can realize suddenly that water has taste, because that's a myth. It's an American myth. Water is not pure. There is no pure water on this planet. Every water has minerals dissolved, and you can measure this by TDS, total dissolved solids. And the more minerals are dissolved in a water, the stronger will taste the water. It's kind of like cooking a soup. No salt, tasteless, little bit salt in your soup, all other flavors will come to life. And when you have too much salt, it's super salty, your soup. This is what Mother Nature does. And that is for me the fascinating part, that you can taste actually where the water is coming from around the world. And you can taste this in that, what it always looks clear, what barely has any odor, but has taste.
Oh my gosh, there's so many more questions we have about water tasting, and we're going to dive into that in a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more fascinating water talk with Martin Riese. We'll see you back here on Main Street Living in just a minute. Stay with us. We're going to dive into the details. Welcome back to Main Street Living. We're having a lot of fun today. We are back with Martin Riese, water sommelier and water advocate. So cool. We're learning so much as we are tasting some water, and we're going to dive into the tastings now and learn more about it. So, Martin, one way you are helping people understand water better is with these water tastings that you lead. What is a water tasting event like? I've been to wine tastings, but I've never been to a water tasting.
So first of all, it's very hydrating. Trust me, a water tasting is a very hydrating scenario. The second most important thing is you always need to know where the restrooms are, because when we're drinking so much water, we eventually have to go. So I think that is very, very important. But it's very similar actually to a wine tasting, because when you think about a wine tasting, you have different grapes. You have like a Pinot Noir and a Riesling and a Chardonnay, and you all know that a Riesling from Germany, for example, will taste differently than a Riesling from California. It depends on the terroir. That's a French term. Where the grapes are growing, you can actually taste what kind of minerality these grapes are taking. Water, on the other side, is 100% terroir driven. Because let's face it, it's the water cycle. We all learned this somewhere in high school. So let's start with the ocean. Water evaporates into clouds, the clouds coming over, hopefully sometimes to Los Angeles as well, because we need way more rain over here. We're in a big drought, so please save everybody water. We need more rain. So rain comes down, and at this moment, this rain hits the different soils. And the different soils have different minerality. So it passes through the different stone layers. Water is a universal solvent. It will take these minerals with them, and at one point it will hopefully come up of the natural occurring spring source, and then you can actually taste the difference between a water from an area where they had maybe volcanic reactions back in the days versus a water where they had like limestones. And that's the fascinating part. It all depends on the different mineralities, and these minerals are actually very, very important for your life being, because we all need to know that electrolytes are important. We need calcium, we need sodium, we need magnesium. Mostly we're getting from our food, but water can actually have a good impact on your health as well.
So Martin, I'm going to ask you a question that I actually know the answer to, because like I said, I'm an advocate of your TikTok, but pH balanced water, is that a thing or not a thing?
It's a marketing thing, let's say it like that. And let's face it, when it comes to bottled water in America, there's two big parts of bottled water. When you're going to the grocery store, it can be very overwhelming these days, because you see like 50 or 60 different brands. And you're like, oh my God, what shall I buy? So it's very simple, actually. You're going to the store, you look at the labels. Do not care about the brand. The brand is just the advertisement. Don't care about the brand. Look at the label and look where the source of the water is. And when the source is spring water, it says the name already. That means it comes from a natural occurring source. So that means that water actually comes from nature. And the minerals are dissolved by nature. The electrolytes are dissolved by nature. When it says purified water or vapor distilled or distilled water, that means most of these brands are using actually municipal sourced water. They're using your tap. It's tap water, filtered, infused with maybe small little minerals and electrolytes in a very small amounts, and selling it for a high price. In my personal opinion, as a water sommelier, biggest scam on planet Earth. That is for me a scam. To sell people tap water, what they could actually create by themselves at home. That's for me crazy. So they don't have really a nice story to tell, because nobody wants to hear, oh, we're selling you tap water. So they came up with this idea of pH. Oh my God, alkaline water. That sounds amazing. And that sounds great, that acidic water is bad for you, and alkaline water on a higher range is great for you. Sounds amazing. But every doctor will smile at you and say, maybe you haven't paid attention in biology class, because let's face it, where does water go when we're drinking it? First to our mouth, then to our stomach. Our stomach is very, very acidic, needs to be acidic to break down our nutrients and to kill bacteria, actually. So our stomach acidity is 1.5 to 3.5. It doesn't matter what kind of high pH you're drinking, it will go acidic in your stomach.
Wow. Okay. So that leads me to this question. And so we bought a water distiller for our house that distills our tap water. Did we waste our money, or is that doing us any good?
No, I think actually by buying something what you have at home, you will save on so much waste. So I think it's actually the right thing to do, a reverse osmosis system or maybe a distilling version. The only thing, obviously, when you're distilling water, you're pretty much boiling up water, you're collecting the steam. That is what distill mean. That means you're stripping out all the bad and the good stuff. So there's no more minerals dissolved. So for me, as a water sommelier, I like just minerals. I think water should come from a natural occurring source. I would, but that's, again, my personal decision, go more for spring water. But when you want to use a filter system, use the stuff what you have, but maybe you want to buy yourself a little mineral supplements or have a good diet with a lot of vegetables, a lot of vitamins, a lot of fruits, and then you're good to go.
Oh, good to know.
Yes. And we know that beyond the water tasting, where you get to teach people about different nuances of the water, you're also just a big advocate for making sure that people all over the planet have access to clean water. So how did you kind of tie those two passions together?
I think it's eventual that when you are so passionate about water, you have to be passionate that every person needs to have access to clean and safe drinking water. And for me, it's a human right. Not everybody actually agrees on me on this planet that water is a human right. I clearly believe that water is a human right, and we should have access to clean and safe drinking water for everybody on this planet. And it can start with little things in your daily basis. For example, when you have medication, you're taking medication, and there's sometimes an expiration date on it, you find medication what is not good anymore, please bring it back to the pharmacy and they can dispose it in the right way. But do not flush them down the toilet. It will affect our water table. So that's very, very important. Don't use your toilet as a waste bin. That's like, I know a lot of people always dumping everything into the toilet. It's very, very hard to get rid of all this waste. So please do not do this. And then literally, like, what I think is even more important, we as human beings sure have an impact on nature, but corporations have a way bigger impact. So we as humans need to talk to our corporations and say, so what are you doing actually to be sustainable? What are you doing to make sure others have clean and safe drinking water? Maybe as a water company, are you helping others to gain access of clean and safe drinking water when you're already in that business? And we can do this by TikTok, by Instagram, by Facebook, to just send the messages that everybody can see it, that everybody can see that you're doing your part, and that the corporation, trust me, when there's suddenly thousands of people asking them, are you sustainable? Trust me, they're gonna be sustainable at one point. They need you.
Wow, we share a passion here. Yeah, I'm a meteorologist, so climate change and water conservation, sustainability is near and dear to my heart. So thank you so much for everything you're doing with water and educating people. And Danielle, I think we should have him back on later this summer.
We need to do a tasting, because I have no idea what I'm drinking here.
Yes. I want to see what the process is actually like and how many we taste. So stay tuned for that. We'll have you back on Main Street Living.
Thank you. Cheers, my friends. And remember, water is not just water.
Thank you, Martin.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to keep the good times going since we're already cheersing, Cheryl. We're going to celebrate Pride Month next with an incredible artist. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, as we know, June is Pride Month, which gives us a chance to look back and learn about the history of Pride and the long and ongoing fight for equal rights.
That's right. And it's also a great opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of our LGBTQ plus neighbors and recognize the huge impact they've had on our society and our communities. Lamar Perry is a perfect example. Let's take a look.
My name is Lamar Perry. I'm the associate producer at the Old Globe, and I'm also a freelance director. It was really important to me to make sure that Blackness and queerness in the places that they intersect really had a space, not just in the American theater, but in the American consciousness. What I've been really gifted and blessed to experience with storytelling is the ability to not only share warmth with people, to invite them into community, to make them feel present and like there is home for them, but also to put productions on a stage that holds a mirror up to themselves, that makes people feel seen.
You don't have to take what I've been through. Don't have to take it awful.
Well, I think the theater is the grandest place in the world.
By giving communities and members the opportunity to speak about their needs, to speak about their wants, their desires through their own lens, and not having someone tell that for them, that they can then start to really address and do the work of receiving the resources that they need to restore them into society and to elevate the general public's consciousness of what's going on in their specific group.
San Diego as a whole need more diverse voices. And Lamar is very generous with his point of view, and he's a keen observer of systems at work, and he has a sort of uncanny ability to notice what people need and then to fight for that, to fight for better systems, to fight for care for the people around him. And I think that he has really helped to transform the globe, and I hope San Diego in some way, by his own passion, by his own mission.
When I think about what's happening on stages, when I think about stories that need to be told, the lens of what we've inherited historically has never shifted. Like, the world in which William Shakespeare was writing in also included Black people, also included Latin people, also included queer people, included women and non-binary folks and trans folks. But when you look at the snapshot of the picture of what's happening on that stage, those bodies aren't present. And that to me is where I take issue. We have seen white families, we have seen white romance, white comedies, we have seen people come back from the edge of redemption and figure out who they're gonna be, and people of color, queer folks, femme folks, have not been offered that same grace. I do think this specific moment is an invitation to imagination to brainstorm together what the world can look like. I think no one person is a proprietor of right. I don't think that I'm the expert in what diversity looks like, but what I want to do and what I will continue to do is advocate for people to have a seat at the table, to be present in the conversation as we think about what the American theater turns into. That's really the thing. It's about making sure that the seats that are formerly occupied are now spread out amongst the people who have traditionally not had them, and not just a specific group who has traditionally held power in the American theater.
Oh, Danielle, it's so good to tell these stories and educate people, and especially through the use of theater as well and podcasts. I mean, gosh, it's such a great way to get your story out there.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important. I mean, I know we focused on a teacher who was a performing arts teacher last week as well. And I just think the arts are getting forgotten in the mix of things. So you can find more information about Lamar, including a link to his podcast at theoldglobe.org. But don't go anywhere, because coming up, Cheryl, I know you're going to love this. And I know probably your answer to this. Have you ever thought about fostering a shelter pet?
Oh, yeah, I'm a foster failure.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at that next on Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living, Cheryl. I am a big celebrator, okay? I'm a big fan of celebrating all of the things, the little things. So of course, I'm a huge fan that there's so many different months that we celebrate. And in case you didn't know, in addition to Pride Month, June is also National Foster a Pet Month, which I have to imagine is one of your favorites.
Oh, it is. It is. And Danielle, I'm a foster failure. And we'll talk about that a little more in this interview, but it's actually a good thing. And here to tell us more about fostering animals, we want to welcome in Jackie Noble from the San Diego Humane Society. Welcome to Main Street Living.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for joining us. So we are now in National Foster a Pet Month, as Danielle said. What does it mean to foster a pet, and what exactly is involved in fostering?
So when you foster a pet, you're opening up that space that in the shelter for the animals that truly need to be here in the shelter. So not only are you opening us up a kennel space, but you're providing that care and enrichment that animal needs to have a low stress time while they wait for their adoptive family to find them. So at San Diego Humane Society, we provide you all of the supplies. All we really need you to do is to provide the love and support to the animal until they're ready to be adopted.
So obviously you touched on opening up the kennel space. Well, why is it so important to be able to get pets into the homes while they're waiting for these forever families?
So we are in our busy season here in San Diego and across the country. It is very, very busy in animal shelters, and especially with 4th of July coming up next month, that is the busiest time for animal shelters across the country. We can expect about 300 animals to come into our care between July 4th and the 7th that are potentially getting scared by fireworks and may escape. So we really need that space available for those animals coming in, but not just at 4th of July, all throughout the year. If we can get these animals into homes, it's really going to reduce their stress levels and give them the best place to wait while they get into their next home.
Yeah, and I know it's so important too to open up some of those spaces to allow more animals to come in, because if you're at capacity, then I know that's a sad situation if you can't take in more animals. So the fosters certainly are helpful there. And I know fostering sounds like a win-win all around. So what are some reasons why families don't volunteer to foster?
The number one reason that's documented and that we hear are people are scared to fall in love and keep all the animals that they foster.
Like me.
I have adopted my fosters as well, and it's great. If you have a space in your home and you fall in love with your foster and would like to adopt, we encourage that. We don't discourage our fosters from adopting their animals, but your ultimate goal is to get them into their next home and provide them that temporary bridge between the shelter and their next home. So we can provide emotional support to help let them go and move on. And we even have an adoption ambassador program where you get to talk to their next family and get to hand them over, which can really ease some of that stress on the foster parents. So that's the number one reason. Sometimes people think that it's going to be really expensive to foster, but as I mentioned, we offer you all of the supplies along with medical support for the animal as well. So you're not responsible for vet bills, you're not responsible for the food. We really cover everything. So we just need your time and a little bit of space in your home to support that animal.
And lots of cuddles and loving. Oh.
So as you can see, Cheryl was not able to make a goodbye here because they're very hard. Goodbyes are really hard. So what can you tell us about this program? Pretty cool that Petco Love is running this month, the My Foster Breakup Story Contest and breakup kits.
So if anyone has ever fostered, it's happy tears, it's sad tears when you hand over that animal. It's really a bittersweet moment, and Petco are capturing on that bittersweet moment, and they are asking fosters to write their foster breakup story from the animal's perspective, and provide the fosters with kind of an emotional support kit with ice cream and cozy things to wear and things like that to support the foster through that emotional handing over of their animal. And there's the opportunity for organizations to win a grant if a foster parent from the organization is selected. So we really encourage people to share their stories about their fosters moving on to their next homes. There's even a Spotify playlist to play in the background as you hand your animal off but I will say one thing our foster parents love to do when they hand their animals off is to schedule a time and pick up their very next assignment. That's one way to cure a broken heart, is to keep on fostering and open up your home again to the next animal in need.
Just be ready to get hurt again.
Okay. Yes, I know, but it's good though, because you're helping so many animals, and without fosters, I mean, these poor babies would be, in shelters and maybe on the streets and have no way to go. So it's great that the fosters are stepping up. So who are the people or families you hope this campaign will reach and actually convince them to open their homes to fostering?
We encourage anyone to foster. So it doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or a house. It doesn't matter if you have a yard or you don't have a yard. It doesn't matter if you own or rent. Really, anyone can foster. We have anything from a hamster that's, itty bitty hamster that needs a foster, all the way up to large breed dogs. Some of the animals we have, like neonatal kittens, need around the clock care. And then some animals, like our small pets, you just need to check in on them and interact with them a couple times a day and feed them. And it's a little less time consuming. So whether you work, don't work. Really, we're looking to encourage anyone that has the ability to open their home to sign up to foster and to support us. We have a ton of small pets here at the shelter, and so you don't even need a big space, really. You just need a little nook in your home to be able to dedicate to them.
It can give people a sense of purpose too, if they're lonely or retired or
I was just thinking that, Cheryl.
Yeah.
I was, because my mom's retiring, and I'm also thinking about empty nesters. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that we can reach people. How big of a need is there for foster homes, not only in San Diego County where you are, but just around the country right now?
There is a huge need. We did see during early times in the pandemic a huge outpouring of people stepping up to foster. And as people were going back to their offices and back to their day jobs, we did see a little bit of a drop off there. So the need is not over. The need is still very much there. And like I said, no matter if you're working full time or not, there is an animal for you in need that you could take home. So whether or not you're in San Diego or far, there will be an organization near you in need of a foster.
Oh, and quickly before we go, where can our viewers go to learn more about your program and fostering in general?
So for San Diego Humane Society, you can go to sdhumane.org/foster. Our application is all online, as is the training. So the first time we see you is to pick up your foster pet. So we make it really, really easy. And we even have a brand new foster portal where you can search every single animal we have available for foster. So you can find that foster match and open up your home.
Oh, and as a reminder to participate in the My Foster Breakup Story contest, write a breakup letter from your foster pet's perspective and share it on social media with the hashtag MyFosterBreakup and tag Petco Love and SD Humane. Wow, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, Danielle, good stuff. Lots of feels here. And from a love for animals to a love for art, where you can see some beautiful artwork next. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Thanks for hanging with us today. And Danielle, we all have our own personal taste in art and what makes art good, right? Maybe something I like, you don't, and vice versa. So what speaks to somebody else might not resonate with the person next to them. But that is what makes art so interesting in our lives.
Yes, there's always something up for debate, but there are a few artists that it seems almost everyone can appreciate, and one of those is Vincent van Gogh. So there's a new animated walkthrough exhibition featuring more than 300 of Van Gogh's works, and it's now touring the country. And we actually get to take a step into that world right now.
Beyond Van Gogh is really a blend of cutting-edge projection technology along with more traditional work, Vincent van Gogh's body of work and paintings that are blending together to allow the audience to literally set foot into his vision of the world, into his paintings, and just follow the brushstrokes and be truly immersed in his colors and his lights. When you step foot into that experience, it's unlike anything else. It's also pretty hard to describe, but you're just inside a dreamlike landscape that's just moving along with you. You know, sometimes people are intimidated by museums, and this is a great way of being introduced to the art world and just experiencing it in a different way. So whether you know a lot about him coming in, and then it's just the fantasy of being inside the work you know and loved, and if you don't know much about him, it's a great way of being inside it and developing this connection through his work. And hopefully people who might be intimidated by museum at the beginning, after this might be curious about seeing the real thing if they get the chance, and that's also pretty unique. There's nothing like the magic and the aura of an original Van Gogh, but there's something phenomenal about just being able to be inside of it and being able to live and breathe with it. And so it's truly unique, and it's really about bridging those two experiences. Starry Night is probably one of the most famous paintings in the world. Even somebody who doesn't know much about art history or about Vincent van Gogh is probably capable of identifying a Van Gogh, and particularly
this piece. And it's a good example of the intensity of his brushstrokes, the colors that are put side by side, not blended. The idea that the world is filled with movement and energy that you feel but not necessarily see. And so it's a perfect fit for a type of experience like this where the animators actually didn't have to do much to just breathe new life into it. I've been to quite a lot of these experiences so far because we've been very lucky to have it in Austin, it's been in Honolulu, Milwaukee, it's been in Detroit, it's been in Birmingham, it's been really all over the place, and hopefully it'll continue to travel as much as it can.
So magical. And you can find out more information about this amazing immersive Van Gogh experience and find out when it'll be in your area at beyondvangogh.com.
But don't go anywhere, because up next, we're meeting 3 terrific teachers. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Cheryl, do you remember your favorite teachers? Because I so vividly, they were such an important part of my childhood.
I do. My 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Compton, she encouraged me to come out of my shell. I was so shy, believe it or not.
I actually do not believe that at all, Cheryl, but we'll come back to that. But it's obvious, right? We all remember those teachers who helped us, who encouraged us, and inspired us to be more than we thought we could.
Absolutely. And the San Diego Unified School District recently announced their Teachers of the Year, who are being recognized as part of Cox's Salute to Teachers program. Take a look at these 3 outstanding educators.
It is quite an honor for you to be recognized by your peers. And that says a great deal about who you are and how you show up every single day for our students, for our families, and for your colleagues. I think that this, for you, should be a tremendous honor. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making a difference. Congratulations for what you do. And so we have elementary, middle, and high school educators of the year, teachers of the year. Congratulations to all of our teachers of the year.
It's just trying every day to do better. I mean, teachers work so hard. I know a dozen teachers of the year at my campus right now, but it's the fact of just trying to do better each day with each lesson, with each interaction. And it's great to be recognized, and of course it's an honor. So.
I don't know if I have perfect words for it, but it's a pretty incredible process to have to be self-reflective about what we do every day. Most times I put my head down and I go to work and I'm working with 24 kids within a classroom, and this has allowed me a broader spectrum of what I do every day. It's been pretty incredible.
Still a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit surprised. You know, you don't go into teaching for awards, you go into teaching because you sincerely believe you can make a difference in young people's lives, and that's kind of what got me into the field in the first place.
I really like the fact of communication, of teaching communication, and so the students can tell their stories, right? And that's really important, and we want to tell their stories. We want them to be able to tell their stories effectively.
I think that the balance between teacher and parent could be valuable moving forward as we start to modify the way education works for all of us, for all students to reach their highest potential.
Now, I have students who come in and they make it real clear to me on those first couple days they don't like science or they haven't done well. And I just look at them and say, hey, that's okay. I'm going to help you. I'm going to make you successful.
What keeps me coming back is just learning more about myself in the classroom. And as I learn more about myself, I can share more about myself with my students. And I can open up more and care more and love more and teach more by example.
Teaching is just one of those things that if you have a heart for it, you've found your place. And I have found my place. I get to help little people realize what it means to learn something for the first time, and that's something like reading that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
We really do this job because we want to. We're not just placeholders filling in. Every teacher I know, they want to show up, they want to help their students be successful. And I just want everyone to remember at the core, that's what teaching is all about.
Oh man, Cheryl, we do not deserve teachers, especially after what they went through during the pandemic. They're
Oh,
incredible.
gosh, they went through so much. They are true angels. Love them.
I know. And you can find out more about the San Diego Salute to Teachers celebration at salutetoteachersSD.com. Also, mark your calendars to tune in to the special full Salute to Teachers show on October 2nd, right here on Your View.
Ooh, and speaking of Your View, don't go anywhere. We've got more Main Street Living coming up right here next.
Welcome back into Main Street Living for one last time. And one last time, Cheryl, we are so proud of you on your Emmy nomination. And people who haven't seen your package, where can they find it?
Thank you. Your View has a YouTube channel, so just look for the impacts of climate change on coastal New England Wales, and you can watch the Emmy-nominated piece. So excited about that.
That's right. You can always catch old episodes of our show on our Cox Contour app as well.
Yes, and Danielle, as you know, Quincy's back next week, so we're all going to be here. Local episodes, 9 p.m. local time, rather. Join us then as we take another stroll down Main Street.